All right, guys, it's another Sunday Night Live session. My name is Kevin Shaw. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal, and you're tuning in, and we're here, and it's live, and I'm a mess. I think I picked up a head cold this weekend, and so I took the day off from church. I took a nap and did a little bit of work, and then took another nap. So if I sound muted, it's because I have a head cold. But I think I should be good. We'll make it through this one. We're doing all right. Okay. Let's wait for everyone to kind of pile in. As normal, I'm going to go through some basic news for the YouTube channel and for the magazine, and then we will get rolling on the topic, which really isn't that heavy duty. Okay, so number one, news. We're starting to wrap up a lot of the season when it comes to content that's just kind of been waiting in the hopper for the Watercraft Journal, the actual digital magazine, and the watercraftjournal.com. And so you're going to start seeing a lot more product reviews because I've just, quite frankly, been reviewing stuff. I've been testing stuff and using it during the season. And this is about the same time that I start kind of chewing through my to-do list of all the reviews that I've meant to be doing. Some stuff's a little behind schedule. I probably should have delivered on it a couple months ago, but this was a hell of a year. That being said, I think the first of it is going to be I gotta turn this off. All right. Let's quit that. All right, that should turn off. Okay, sorry. It will send me messages anyway. My brother and I are sharing conspiracy theories right now. You don't want to go down that. Don't go down that that rabbit hole with he and I. So anyway, Billy's here, everyone. Say hello to Billy. I need to get a water. I have to get a water, guys. Give me a second. I need to open a new case of. There we go. There, you can get a good look at my work boots. Okay, got a water. Professional as always, guys. Professional as always, boy. All right, so yeah, reviews. These are written reviews. These are things that you're not going to see video-wise. Product that we've gone through. Looks like your camera is slightly out of focus. Let's take a look. And let me bump it a bunch of times. Nope. It's just a crappy camera. Sorry, Doug. I'll take donations for a nicer camera. All right. If you guys did not already see it, the Manitou, it's 20-minute long video, went live last Monday. If you haven't already checked it out, definitely did not hit like the Switch review did. Switch review caught on fire as soon as it went live. It went berserk. Manitou, I think a lot of folks, it's just really out of their price range, especially if they're not familiar with the Watercraft Journal. They're not looking at me. They're going to boating.com or they're going to go to, the bigger boat outlets. But all that being said, video's up. Hopefully you guys saw it and you're able to enjoy that one. Don't know if I'll be doing a lot more boat stuff. Again, it's not my typical, typical foray of content. All right, so the Manitou video is up and the shootout is halfway done with editing. I think we're doing, what else? That one's going to be long. We got a ton of B-roll for that one. And Greg is like sending me messages going, hey, you should include this and we should include this. I'm like, it's already being edited, dude. So that being said, the 2022 Ultra 310 LX versus the GTX Limited 300. That shootout should be, it really won't be this week. It'll be next week that it comes out. We're going to need another week to chew on it. Because again, my editor actually has a real job. So, and I personally edit the video for the car magazine. And I also share editing duties with the daily quick topics. So we got a lot of video content that we pump out every day. So all that being said, okay, videos that are upcoming. Videos that are upcoming are the Mud Bug. That'll be next. The next one after that will be the RXPX Apex, and the one after that is going to be the Explorer Pro. I hope to have all of those done. All those need to be done and published before Watercraft of the Year goes out. Watercraft of the Year is going to go out probably the second or third week. Let me double check. Yeah, it's going to be the third week of December. Will be a video and article, Watercraft of the Year. We're already going over a lot of the criteria for that in our judging. I've got Greg Gaddis taking his dad's place on the judging board on that one, and a couple other people. And the big thing with that, and it's really tough because of how the year has gone, there's been a lot of quality control problems with Yamaha, and that's taken some people off the list. It's really hurt Yamaha was quality control. There's been a new rash of problems with quality control coming out with Yamahas. So that's not great. A lot of skis are coming up with, in fact, there's a very quickly, how do I articulate this? There is a video that's getting around, and it's really getting around. And a guy went out and got a 2023 FX SVHO, and nothing works. It's a mess. And it's a mess. So, and it's just really heartbreaking because Yamaha was the king of quality control for a very long time. And this ain't great. You are late on the Apex. We got our 3 this past week. Already have a bunch of hours on them. That's great. I think they were totally not worth the money. Totally not worth the $4,000 over the regular PX. Especially knowing that steering neck, that is the only thing that is remotely of value on the Apex, is going to be a standard item. Or not standard, but it's going to be an optional item on next year's RXPX. So it's the same damn thing, guys. It's the same exact ski, except for the fact that it's got the steering. It's the same ski. Yeah. So anyways. All right. So Mudbug script, Apex, Explorer Pro, got that done. All right. So we are now in the season of hold on. Oh, sheesh. Terrible. People's choice? No, because I don't care what people think. I care what experts think who ride everything. I care about what guys who put their hands on every ski. I care what the market does, and I care what... Now, I'll tell you what. Think about it this way. All right? Most people don't get to put their hands on more than 2 skis or 3 skis a year. If that. This year I rode, I think my total right now is 11 different brand new skis. I got my hands on 11 new skis. All right. Were all these top of the line? No. But they were all 2022 models. Okay. Fair enough. Now, in addition to my personal take on each of the, each machine that we reviewed this year, I have to equate, how did the market respond to it? Was it a hit? Was it a failure? Did people buy it? Did no one buy it? Okay. Did that machine introduce any new innovation, any new materials, anything that really will change how the industry will go forward? All right. The Spark did that. The Spark caused a tidal change. Okay. It was all new material. It was a whole new market segment. It was a whole new price point. It radically changed the industry. Let's just call a spade a spade. All right. But how did the market respond to it? They sold every one of them. It was the number one seller for 5 years in a row. Okay, great. There you go. So you have to equate all these things. And then, of course, the killer is build quality. Build quality. So let's say the market responded to it. Let's say it had all sorts of innovation. Let's say it had XYZ and it just knocked everyone's socks off. And then they fell apart. And they showed up from the factory a total disaster. That's going to lose some points, right? It's only fair. I can't just ignore the fact that everyone had their skis in service or getting recalled or having things fixed because everything was breaking. Like when IDF first came out, IDF was problematic. IDF needed a lot of fixes, okay? Did Sea-Doos lose points because of IDF failure? Yes, sir. And I would think you guys would call me a total bought out, total cheater, loser, total dirtbag for not including that, not equating that first year of the IDFs. Now, IDF is now in its third year. So, okay, let's, they've worked a lot of bugs out. I got IDF on the GTX. There's never once that I go out and not use it because I'm trying to break it. I want it to fail. It hasn't failed me. You know what has failed me is the BRP Go app and the BRP tech package. Tech package has failed me 2 out of 3 times. So tech package is a loser for me. And I'm not the only one. And then there's people who are like, I've never had a problem with it. I'm like, yeah, there's people who never had a problem with IDF. Okay. And now there's a guy with a brand new 2023 Yamaha, and he paid for the GPS chip, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the interface sucks. And he walks through every time that you turn the, you pull the key out, you pull the lanyard out to go to lunch or to refuel at a dock, and suddenly all of your trip mileage is all gone. It resets. Oh, okay, well, that's not great. Okay. And he goes to use the ram mounts, and none of the ram mount holes are aligned with the cup holder hole. So he can't use any of them. Okay, that's not great. And then, and he goes through the whole list of it, and it's totally making the rounds. And people are like, all right, well, here we go. Here we go. So yeah, Arash, that's a good question. Who do you think has the best quality control right now? Right now, like if you and I were to walk into a dealership that sold everything right now, I'd walk over to Kawasaki. I'd walk over to Kawasaki and I'd run my hand along all the cut edges, and I'd run my hand and I'd open up all the doors, and I'd open up and I'd move everything. And then you and I would walk over to Sea-Doo and we'd do the exact same thing. And you would agree with me that Kawasaki is slightly, itty bitty, slightly better. Because Sea-Doo uses very thin plastics. They use no paint. There's zero paint on that ski. There's zero paint on a Sea-Doo. Zero. Literally zero. The engine block is powder coated. There's literally no paint on that ski. Okay? Paint through a paint gun. and you would feel certain things like the glove box flaps and doesn't stay open, and on the ST3, and you'd be like, yeah, the Sea-Doo feels a little sturdier. The Sea-Doo feels a little like when you close the glove box doors, it goes clunk. When you close the hood, it goes clunk. Everything feels a little bit thicker. Hey, it's heavier ski. It's heavier. Everyone's like, well, it's heavy. Well, yeah, because you guys ever put your hands on an old Cadillac and close the doors and then just go honk? So there you go. All right. I'm not even in the topic yet. I'm answering questions. Oh, guys, super chat. Clutch user says, I was able to pick up a pair of 2022 FX SVHOs last month. My mounts are off as well. Mileage resets as stated. Chrome logos have started falling off. And guys, I'm not doing this. I'm not whistling past the graveyard when I talk about quality control. I'm really saddened by it. I mean, I'm kind of bummed because Yamaha was my whole career the standard. Yamaha, but it's in the last 2 years, the last 2 to 3 years. Well, I shouldn't say 3. It's the last 2 years. COVID really took a hit at it. They took a huge hit in COVID, all right, because of staffing. And they had to retool and they had to restaff and they had to get new materials. And it really, really, really just took a chunk out of Yamaha. And I'm really bummed about it. I really am, because I liked that Yamaha would come to the game with race-ready boats, but they were really well built. And it was like, dude, if you're going to get into racing, every person I talked to who's like, I want to get into buoy course racing, I'd say, go get a GP. Like a 90, oh my gosh. Like a 2017, 2018 GP. Dude. Yeah, 2019 GP 20. Go jump on a 2019 GP, put a Riva Stage 1 Plus kit on it, and have your hair catch on fire because it's a freaking hot rod. I'd still give you that advice right now. Guys, there's a reason the GP did it get 2 years in a row or 3 years in a row Watercraft of the Year? GP murdered Yamaha. Yeah, a rash. It was Yamaha. Yamaha went from first to last because of COVID. It went from first to last. And it's not like I'm going to the dealership and being, like, hoo, I'm going to stick my hands all over these skis. And no, I'm hearing it from people who went out and paid them. And they're reaching out to me going, is this normal? And I go, no, that's not normal. And then I talk to guys who are racers. I talk to guys who have shops. They're like, bro, I don't understand. They're like, I really don't understand what's going on. But Yamaha's, something's up. LMX, it's a stupid idea. Yeah, you've asked me twice about a Timron Hall. It's stupid. It's a stupid idea. Because dynamically, it doesn't work. It's too small of a platform. It's too small of a platform. It's not enough displacement, and it wouldn't work. I know there's guys who are trying to do it. It's dumb. So, yeah, you've asked me twice, and I'm going to, No. Dustin, no. I wouldn't. No. Top 5 contenders for Watercraft of the Year. No. Stop it. Don't waste my time anymore. Go watch our videos on hull design. Go watch. I've done hours on hull design and what works for personal watercraft. Yeah. Yeah. So we tried trifoiler. It doesn't work. No, it yeah. It isn't just Sea-Doo either. Anything Bombardier Recreational Products owns is questionable. Thanks for no, guys. Can-Am is killer. Ski-Doo is killer. All right. Evan Rude was badass. Guys, ST line writes, would the inflatable sponsons help on an ST3 hull? Hey, got a question for you, ST. When you go bowling, do you put up the little guardrails? The little bumper rails that we use for my 6-year-old daughter? When you swim, do you use the little floaties for your arms? Yes. Well, then yes, they will help you. All right, let's get into the topic. All right, I'm getting distracted by questions. I literally have, if I go too soon, we're going to talk about scary movies and Halloween candy. That's funny. All right. So the questions are starting to come in about winterization. It's getting cold and I need to winterize my ski and oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And I'm like, where are you? And thankfully the guys up north, they don't ask me because it's part of their life. Where water freezes and the lakes freeze over, they're like, all those toys are put away. And it's very well known. It's typically when you start getting into temperate climates, you start getting into, if you have a really big freeze or you get some back and forth that it's questionable, you start getting guys who are like, I don't know anything about winterization. What should I do? I mean, I literally have guys who are reaching out to me from Texas, and they're like, dude, do I winterize my ski? I'm like, well, it depends on where you are. And the funny thing about it is that Texas had a hell of a freeze was it last year or the year before? 2021, wasn't it? Where everything froze over like crazy. I think it was 21. Yeah, it wasn't 20. It was 21 where they had the really gnarly freeze. Wiped out like all of Dallas-Fort Worth. So, there's a lot of concern. A lot of people are questioning about it. And it's like, listen, I don't want to get on a rant, but I'm gonna. And I hate this about me. But I've never winterized a ski in my life. And it snows in Tennessee. You guys have seen me ride when it snows. I'm not even going to look at the questions because I'm trying to get through this point. And I've never went. I mean, I've participated in the process, so I've put my hands on it. I've done it, but I don't. I personally don't winterize any one of my skis because I ride year round. And guess what? Never, ever have I had a ski stored in my garage. They've always been outside. Oh my gosh. Oh. And I'm like, yeah, it's gotten down to like 17 degrees, 14 degrees. It was single digits one night. It gets cold, but I'll cover them. I'll take the battery out, put it on trickle charger. Or if I have to, I'll go out there and let it idle for about 30 seconds, just get some heat through it, get it charging, put the cover back on it, and then I'll go ride. So to that effect, I'll go out there and I'll bump them. I'll bump it and let it idle. Now, sometimes it's so damn cold you can't run a hose through it. Okay, let's be fair. Now if your hose gets frozen solid, then okay, you got a problem. Now I do have a spigot that is shares the same wall with my washer and dryer. And if I unscrew the hose and I have another hose, I have like one of those stretchy canvas hoses, and I bring it in there and I screw it up. I screw it on and I get the water running. It'll run. I also have ran hot water out of the hot water heater and ran it through that and ran it through there. How could you dare do that? Well, watch me. I've done it. All right. So, is it recommended? No. Should you be running boiling hot water from your hot water heater through your engine? Probably not. So, I don't recommend that. But I do go out there, and it hasn't been often that I've ran water through it. In fact, I just bump it and let it idle for a few for 20, 30 seconds, kill it, and cover it back up. Okay, fair enough. And I occasionally go out there and shake the snow off the cover if there's snow. But again, I don't live in northern Ohio. I live in central Tennessee. So it's different. You need to accommodate for where you live. But all that being said, I had guys like, hey, just run a gallon of antifreeze through it. And I'm like, well, one guy had written me and he goes, hey, should I have a Yamaha. They're telling me to run antifreeze through it. Run 2 gallons of antifreeze. And I'm just like, okay. First, let's explain the antifreeze thing. Okay. Or engine coolant, whatever you want to call it. First and foremost, that shit is incredibly toxic. I know there's biodegradable versions. If you can, use that. Because guess what? You're not going to be collecting that stuff. It's going to be pumping out of your exhaust. It's going to be pumping out of your piston on the side if you're blowing that through your engine. And the whole idea is to replace all the coolant or all the water that is in the engine block, that's in the intercooler, that's in the water box. Because that water can freeze and expand and hurt things. Understood. Totally get it. All right? So, I'm not answering any questions, guys. I'm totally ignoring it right now. So just cool your jets. I'm not stopping what I'm doing to answer you. All right. So all that being said is when one gentleman reached out and he goes, hey, they're telling me I got to run antifreeze through it. I said, make a point to find a biodegradable antifreeze, because the last thing you want is that all over your backyard, killing your grass, having your dog lapping it up because it thinks it's sweet, and now you're killing your dog. You don't want anything like that. All right. That stuff is pretty damn toxic. And you're never going to hear me. I'm not Mr. Environmentalist. Okay. God knows I'm not. But I will say, hey, listen, that stuff is pretty gnarly. Don't let it run into your flower bed. Now, obviously the next steps are if you're gonna fog your engine, you pull your plugs, you spray oil down so that you don't get any corrosion on your valves and your rings and your pistons. You can put your plugs back in if you want. You can do that, and that's fine and dandy. I knew guys who oiled everything down, left the plugs out, left the boots out so that air could circulate and it wouldn't collect moisture if they're in a pretty dry climate. If you're in Florida, that's probably going to backfire on you. That's a bad idea. So, but if you're a Floridian and you're winterizing, you need to be punched in the mouth. So there's that. You can oil down your throttle body, oil down all the external engine compartment components. There's a big step and a big process. I'm not going over the whole process here today. What I'm trying to do is talk you out of it. If you live somewhere where the water doesn't freeze solid, it just gets cold, like Tennessee, ride. I want you to ride. I want you to go out and I want you to ride. I really, really do. I do. I ride when it's cold. There's a few guys in the Middle Tennessee Club who go out because they're all snowmobilers and they got good snowmobile gear. They got the bibs and the coats and everything like that, good boots and good gloves. They go out and they ride when it's butt ass cold. It's great. So why am I advocating this? It's not the whole ride or die thing. I'm not pushing that. All right. Even though ride or die. But what I am pushing is you are robbing yourself of a really neat experience. And some people are like, I did it once, I'll never do it again. Fine. Whatever. Quitter. But I love winter rides. I love cold weather rides. Because even if you ride the same route you've ridden locally same lake or same river or the same area, but suddenly it's snow-capped and the banks are covered in snow and there's ice along the river. Guys, it's a whole new world. It really is. And if you're in it for the experience and you're doing this for the experience of being with nature and the experience of seeing things and taking in the world around you, this is it. This is the way to do it. It really is. A winter ride is where it's at. And a winter ride is really, in my experience, the only excuse to own an Explorer Pro. I mean, really, it is. Winter rides they're magical. They're just a blast. They really are. Okay, but all that being said, you will absolutely curse my name on your deathbed if you do not dress accordingly. All right. Let's just be real honest. You gotta get the right gear. Okay. A wetsuit is not going to cut it. A wetsuit is not designed for this. Do you know? Most people don't know how a wetsuit works. A wetsuit allows water in. A wetsuit literally lets water in, and then the thickness of the neoprene acts as a second skin and warms the layer of water. So here's water, here's the neoprene. Lets your body heat warm this layer of water that's surrounding you, trapped inside of the wetsuit, and that's what keeps you warm. That's not good for winter riding. You're never going to get wet. God help you. Please, I hope you don't. All right. You need to stay dry. I have a dry suit. It sucks. It works, but it sucks. It's uncomfortable. All right. The rubber cuff around the neck and the rubber cuffs around the wrists and ankles are uncomfortable. It's almost like you're cutting off circulation. It sucks. All right. The best stuff that I've encountered is, quite frankly, snowmobile riding gear. Okay. Now, hopefully, you don't fall in, because that's a whole different problem. You fall in, you're in trouble. But the snowmobile riding gear is typically waterproof. It's not water sealed, but if you go through a snowbank on a snowmobile, that snow isn't going to pack into your face or pack onto your clothes and melt and seep through your clothes. All right. Sorry, I know that was clunky how I described that, but yes, a snowmobile, a ski-doo. What do you call them in Germany, LMX? What do you call a snowmobile? A motorized toboggan? A sled? Okay, a sled. A motorized sled? You don't ride the snowmobile in the water, even though I have seen video of guys doing that, and it's some of the bitchin' stuff. But the gear that they wear, all right, really good face coverings, really good ears, nose, face coverings. If my ears get cold and my nose get cold, or my feet, I'm out. My feet have to be warm, and my ears have to be warm, and my ears poke out a little bit. But yeah, definitely look into snowmobile riding gear. I don't know who makes good snowmobile riding gear. I can't recommend it. I've never been on a snowmobile, so I can't really make recommendations on that end. So I apologize. But okay, I don't know what you're saying. Whatever. There must be a language barrier. So when it comes to riding gear, you're gonna want some good waterproof boots. You're gonna want to be able to keep, water spray, sea spray from soaking through your clothes. So good waterproof clothing that is layered, that is insulated. I saw someone say the electric battery powered jackets that warm you up, whatever floats your boat. I have done it with, I've gone winter riding, and I did put the Sea-Doo hand warmers on, and believe it or not, the top setting is too hot. Like it, after a while, you're like, okay, that's really hot. That sucks. So I always bumped it down to like yellow, because it goes green, yellow, orange, red, which is kind of nice. It's color coordinated, but like yellow was enough. Even with thick gloves, I was like, okay, cool. So yeah, that winter rides are an absolute blast. Winter rides are an experience that winter rides are really something I recommend for people to do. Here's the kicker, though. You are definitely going to need four-wheel drive. If your launch ramp is remotely icy or remotely slick, you are going to need all-wheel drive. Let's just be real straight about that one. If you do not have all-wheel drive, you might be one of these poor saps getting your truck or your car pulled out of the water. All right. Front-wheel drive, okay, sure. But all-wheel drive for you trucks, bigger vehicles, make sure you have all-wheel drive. All-wheel or four-wheel drive. All right? So, how do I... New Year's rides every year in Central Texas. Oh, cool. Okay. I don't think my wife would be very cool with me traveling on New Year's Eve. But yeah, as long as you wear the right gear, you'll have a blast. Face shield. I've reviewed a million different hoods and face shields and ski masks. I do it every year. But honestly, guys, as long as you've got the right riding gear and you don't fall in the water, you'll have a riot. You'll have a total blast. It is so worth it. So that's really all I had for this one. Watercraft Journal New Year's Day ride. Where do you want to ride? Dustin, see my review. I'm not going to waste my time here. I literally did a 15-minute review on it. And the shootout comes out next week. I've done the work. Now you can do your homework. But all right. Yeah, that's kind of what I had for right now. I know I saw some questions come through. So let me answer some questions and see what we got. Sorry, the head cold is kicking in. I'm starting to feel like I haven't taken any medicine yet. All right, Mr. James in Bloggington. Okay. Quick question. Between the GP 1800R and the FX Cruiser, which handles rougher water, swallows better, in your opinion? Oh, okay. Well, it's not... you're kind of asking the wrong question. Because both the GP and the FX share a lot in the design structure of the hull. All right. With the semi-arced coves, with the same, quite frankly, round bottom hull, same rounded outside chines. They both have a quartet of lifting strakes. In fact, the FX is effectively a larger version of the GP. Excuse me. But, and to that effect, both of those skis are going to track through rough water like a scalpel. It's going to shoot right across. But they're on top of the surface. And so you're going to feel everything. You're going to feel everything. Just chatter, 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 chatter. All right? The GP, to that effect, the GP is a lighter machine. It is a lighter machine. It is physically lighter. The Nano Excel 2 material is a lighter, thinner material. And so it reacts and oil cans and vibrates and shakes. With 2022, Yamaha went to a full SMC fiberglass hull, and that added weight, that added insulation to the FX. So the FX is going to have the same tracking characteristics. It's still going to track very true. It's not going to need a bunch of stupid hand play just to keep it straight like the Sea-Doos do. The Sea-Doos, you got to have rider input like this. And Yamaha, you can have your finger on it and just go absolutely cut through it. But the SMC fiberglass hull is going to absorb more of the jostles and the impact, and you yourself are not going to feel the fatigue as the rider. So I strongly recommend, if you're between the two and you're looking at rough water, go FX. Same powertrain, go FX. All right. Wow, Clutch writes, I had my chrome Yamaha logo fall off the side the second time in the water. Warranty covered it, but it was irritating. Well, I'm glad warranty covered it. I mean, of course they would have, but you know, Yamaha is really good about their warranty. All right. Coming from a 2018 GP 1800 SVHO, the Apex handles way better. Then you're not riding it hard enough. You're literally not riding it hard enough. I already answered Arash's question. Is there a chemical solution to eat away the oxidation buildup in the water cooling system in older wave runners? My 2018 FX 1800 SHO Yamaha wave runner is used in salt water. Salt away, salt away, salt away, salt away, salt away, salt away, salt away. And probably use the whole damn bottle. All right? You're going to do multiple flushes. Salt away. Aluminum oxide is calcium, all right, effectively. And the problem is that heat and a detergent will break up all of that calcification that's inside of the circuits, inside the cylinder heads, inside the cylinders, running through the entire cooling system. Salt away, I actually would run hot water through it, trying to break it up. And then I would actually, me personally, I would alternate between salt away, Dawn soap, salt away, Dawn soap, salt away, Dawn soap, water, 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 water. You're going to get a lot of it out. Now, you know, I do not recommend running heavy solvents through there. Do not run any sort of bleaches or acids. Okay, you do not want anything with any sort of acidity going through that system, because you have diodes, because you have well, all the rubber hoses, all of the different materials that comprise the cooling system. You do not want really acidics. You don't want to run any sort of acidics through there. You want to run detergents. Okay. That's your biggest thing with that. So a detergent, you know, Dawn soap is just a heavy degreaser, but a salt away is a mineral detergent. It is a mineral. What's the word? It's a mineral deactivator. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Mr. James writes again, when given a choice between the Japanese Big Four and the North American brand, it seems the former is the safer bet. In regards to snowmobiles? Answered Arash's question there too. Arash got both of his questions answered really quickly. Okay. Was pretty good on that one. Alrighty. Yeah, Chrissy, that is fair. Yeah, a lot of people with Yamaha got pushed back. I just do not see the value in getting the Apex over the RXPX. It's not there. No. The carbon fiber means nothing because there's no weight savings, and it rattles more. Rattles more than the plastic, believe it or not. It does. It's thinner. Yeah, you get the back seat, which I would use because I had the back seat. That's $400 right there. That's included. But the steering system again is going to be an item that is optional on the 24s because we know what the 23 is. Optional on 24s, and it's also going to be an item that you can purchase through parts and accessories. So I'm patient enough to wait a year. It's not that big of an issue. So Apex the Apex doesn't calculate out. That's all. All right. Any more questions? 75 degrees in Nova Scotia. Right on. Scott, I love that. Many years ago, a HarleyDavidson owner was asked how he winterizes his bike. He says, I take the key out. That's great. I love that. That's funny. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how to winterize your seat. You can go to your dealership and do that. Or you can read your manual because your manual tells you how to do that too. Let's see here. Oh, Paul, that's fantastic. I didn't know about this. Paul writes, there's an RV antifreeze in Michigan. We call it Red Pop. It's for your freshwater tanks, non-toxic. You can almost drink it. That's why we call it Red Pop. Well, I know Red Pop's like the red cream soda, but it's like limited. Okay. Arash has another question. If you're just passing through a wintry area while trailering, do you think it is more worth it to winterize or play? Oh, no, absolutely not. No. Winterization is for a long 3-month winter. It's not for, I'm going through a cold area. What's going to happen? Is it going to flash freeze? No. No. If you put a gallon of milk in the back of your truck while you drive through there, is it going to freeze solid? No. Yeah, you're fine. Justin, you'd be surprised. Never underestimate the stupidity of people. All right. Any more questions? Yeah, blow air through it. You're not going to get all of it out. Don't get me wrong. You're not going to get all the water out. There's still pockets, and I hate to say it, but if you look at a lot of the water jackets inside of these cylinder heads, there's pockets in there that there is no flow. I mean, if you saw the cutaways, how the water is routed, you would see actual turbulent areas where there's no water flow. So you'll have effective, not stagnant, but you'll have whirlpooled or you'll have cavitating water inside of the cylinder heads. They ain't that great. All righty. Why is everyone too cheap for super chats? So thank you, Will. I appreciate the super chat. What are your thoughts on bilge pumps for jet skis? They should all have them. I know they have the siphon tube. Those sort of work. But a siphon tube does not work when you're sitting still. If you're not putting thrust through that jet pump, siphon tube ain't gonna pull the water out of the bilge. So a electric bilge pump really is smart insurance. Canadian cream soda. I would like to try some Canadian cream soda. Do you guys know our P.O. box? Are you ready? You guys want our P.O. box number? You can send us stuff. I'm all for it. P.O. box is the Watercraft Journal. P.O. box number, believe it or not, 666. It is. It's easy to remember. P.O. Box 666, Goodlettsville. That's good, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, and that's 37070. Goodlettsville, Tennessee, P.O. Box 666. All right. Have you ridden a Blasty? I have not. I haven't ridden a Hydrospace or any of the Blasties. I have not been on any of those. Hitman is correct. DJ Hitman is correct, but don't let me tell anyone that. They get all mad. Adventure State. Question. What about a ride in your area November 6th? You'll be going down. Okay. Well, November 6th is Sunday, and I will be driving back from Georgia, and I'll be dropping off the Sea-Doo in Georgia. I'm meeting up with the guys from Sea-Doo to give them back the GTX. I will have the Cowie, but I will not be in any sort of shape to be back Sunday for a ride. If you want to do it Monday, I could probably do that, but a lot of people will be mad at me for holding a ride on Monday. But if things change, let me know. All right. Any more questions? Oh, we got... Horizon writes, that damn Tennessee ride was cold, but I think everyone that went had a blast and would do it again. You know, that's an interesting thing, because the holdup with the damn Tennessee ride, first we had rain. We had that big rainstorm that came through in February, and that was when we were going to do it. So it got pushed into March. In March, we had a really gnarly cold snap, and we were down in the 40s. We had one poor guy show up in shorts, and that dude's legs were purple by the end of it. It wasn't as cold as some rides, but guy, I wish you weren't going through. I wish it wasn't the weekend of the 6th. If it was the next weekend, then I'd be like, heck yeah, let's do it. Oh, wait a minute. No, that next weekend I'm going to be in Alabama. And then the week after that, I'm going to be in California. My November's booked. Crap. All right. Yeah, that's rough. LMX, he asks, how does it feel when you fall with snowmobile suits in cold water? You drown to death. You drowned. You go to the bottom of the river. I don't know. I haven't died yet. I don't want to do a parade. Who wants to ride Halloween parade? Oh, I know. I'm being a jerk. All right. Show. As a cheap bastard myself, may I point out that Will could have got that super chat out for $2. That's funny. Yeah, well, Will's a friend. Want to meet somewhere on the way back? I don't know. Find me a route, dude. I'm not planning this. I'm too damn busy. I run 2 YouTube channels. I do a podcast. I've got 2 magazines. I mean, I'm beat. I'm beat. November 25th, I'll be in California. Sorry. Dean writes, regarding Blasty, I forgot to mention I toured their factory this year. They're aiming to make them Coast Guard compliant for 2023 and enter the North American market. Well, best of luck to them. You picked the exact total worst period in American history in the last 50 years to do it, because our dollar's worth nothing and there's no material. And we're now at a We've got effectively, I believe they said 25 days left of diesel fuel in the American diesel reserves. Do you know that? Look it up. We have 25 days left of diesel fuel. If all manufacturing stopped, if all refining stopped, we'd have 25 days left of diesel fuel in the country. Remind me again that elections have consequences. Remind me. Sounds kind of crazy. Oh, you guys are diesel fuel. All right. Well, it's been an hour. I haven't seen any questions else that I haven't asked. U.S. dollar is not strong. It's absolute shit right now. American dollar is train wreck. You want to know why? Petrodollar. Saudi Arabia is going to start using the yuan. They didn't even said so. Petrodollar is the only thing that sustains us. It's the only thing that we export is our dollar. And it's only because of OPEC. And that's why Biden's over there begging OPEC to produce more oil so that they'll continue to use the petrodollar. And they told him to A, screw himself, and B, they're going to start using Chinese currency. Pay attention. All right. DJ Hitman asks, do you have an opinion on the best buyable tool for clearing your impeller of rocks, etc.? Would you suggest having one fabricated? Yes. I have not found anyone who sells one that's worth a damn. I haven't. I've tried probably half a dozen, and none have knocked my socks off. None have really done the job. And the guys at 3 feet deep, Jay just said it. Yeah, the guys at 3 feet deep, they fabricated their own little tool to do it. And if you follow that one, it's a pretty handy one. A back scratcher. It's got to be a really strong one. But yeah, it's you got to carry it with you. And if you're sucking up a lot of rocks, you're kind of a dingbat. But if you have to carry a tool to dislodge rocks from your pump, maybe you should pick up another hobby. If you do it so often, this might not be the hobby for you. So anyway, we need Russia's fuel. The U.S. doesn't. Germany absolutely hiked up its skirt and said, we're going to buy all of our natural gas from Russia. And then the U.S. blows the freaking Nord Stream. Why should I wait to winterize? Because we want you to go ride. Go on rides. It's for the Florida grass. Grass and rocks are totally different. That poking stick ain't going to get grass out. You need something with a hook or something to cut it. Grass is a totally different creature. If you're getting rocks shoved in your stator, yeah, the sharp poking manhole cover tool that you brought up, that would work. But for grass and kelp and all that kind of garbage, you're in rough shape. Let me just throw Taiwan. Let me just throw Taiwan in the conversation. Really make this a party. I think it's Sky News Australia is literally the only international news outlet who's documenting the naval blockade that is surrounding Taiwan. China's got a naval blockade all the way around it, and they're regulating the boats that come in and out. Sky News, like every month, does an update on it. My buddies all send it to me. All right. Do you think is good time to sell, buy, or trade for a new one if your old one still is in good shape? Not at all. I think it's a terrible time. I think it's absolutely the worst possible time. Hang on to your ski. Lots of rocks here in the Colorado River. Mostly have to remove the pump. Woo! That's true. I was in Parker. First time I ever had to pull a pump. Yeah. Body Beach. Yeah. 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 LMX, 100%. Yeah. The commercial for the Explorer Pro, and that thing's all the way up that rocky beach, and the rocks look like this. You're like, what? You want me to do what? I thought that was really funny. Yeah. It's like, dude, what are you doing? All right. You had to pull your pump. I'm not feeling so bad. We've all done it. We've all screwed up. You know, I'll tell you what. No, the first time I ever pulled a pump, because I sucked up something, was on the St. Johns River. We pulled up. Boy, what did we do? Oh, we pulled up to this little eatery, this little Gator Bites eatery. It was also the same place all the airboats came in. And I pulled up to the dock, and there was a length of rope, and someone had just cut their dock line off. And that rope went right up and coiled right around the impeller shaft, and that ski went, and pulled itself up against the dock, and even a little bit out of the water. And we were like, what the hell do we do? So we took a knife and we cut it off of the dock. We pushed it onto the shore, and thankfully a guy had a jet ski trailer, and he goes, hey man, I'm just here having a beer and I'll pull you out. And so he pulled us out, and it was a stand-up jet ski trailer, and I was on like an FX 140 or something. And we pulled out, we had a toolkit, and we dropped the ride plate, and we pulled the reverse bucket, and we pulled the pump out. We pulled the shaft, or we pulled the stator with the impeller, pulled the whole thing out, slid the rope off of it, and it had polished the shaft, but it didn't bend it. Slid it all back in together. Didn't have any silicone, but we put it all back together again and torqued the hell out of it. Said, all right, here we go. Let's finish our day. And that was the end of it. But yeah, that was I think I was like 30. First time I had to do that. All right. Well, it's an hour. I think I'm good, guys. I'm going to take some NyQuil and I'm going to crash. I got a week's worth of work to do, and I got to do it with a head cold. You know what? That's a very good question. I'm going to answer this one, and I'm going to get out of here. Okay. So the chameleon asked, why is there not several different props to use for maximizing the fuel economy over top speed? I know that it works, but it doesn't go fast, just can go further. All right. It's effectively like changing the rear gear ratio in the back of your differential for a truck or a rear-wheel drive car. And it is a decent question to ask. And effectively, the answer would be one more story. That's funny. It's like my kids putting them to bed. The problem is that they have to find the balance. All right. They have to find a balance that will make people happy. So the problem is that if you find a full-size ski that sits 3 people, but it only tops out at 40 miles an hour, but it gets killer gas mileage, it's going to be looked over by the vast majority. The vast majority of people are going to look over that ski, because the problem is that people are dumb. And that number on the side means a lot to them. 310, 300, 1.8 liter or whatever the thing they put on the side. It gets people excited. It does. And everyone wants to feel like a hero. Everyone wants to feel like a badass. And no one wants to be I got the Toyota Camry. I got the little pity putt. Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of people who go out there and buy an FXHO and they go, I bought this thing expressly for fuel mileage. And they bought the right machine. All right. There are different impeller pitches for the supercharged machines versus naturally aspirated. There are different impeller pitches for different size pumps. So there are different pitches. The what I presume your question is how come there's not a box I can check that says I want the fuel mileage impeller versus the badass get me out of the gate impeller? And I think that's your question that you're getting at. And if that is your question, it's a good question. It's cost. It's cost. I mean, right now we were talking about quality control, and that manufacturers, Yamaha was the crown king of quality control, and now they're having trouble. And if you add more things to the, more ingredients to the mix, you're going to have potential for bad outcomes. So you kind of have to reduce. You really kind of want to reduce your attrition rate. You reduce the pinch points. You reduce all the different ways that it could be screw ups, and that's going to be one of them. It's not a great answer. That's not satisfactory to the consumer, but it is ideal for the manufacturer. It's not great. It's not a good answer, but it is an answer. All right. Well, I think we're done, guys. Jay, I don't know that answer. I don't know if Solus has a chart related to fuel and speed. I really don't. I guess so much changes. Damn it. Okay, you guys keep doing super chats. Okay. All right. DJ Hitman writes, $5 to tell me if this is a weekly chat and always at the same time every day. Yes, it is. We do the Sunday night live session every Sunday. My bad, but it was an easy one. It's fine. Yes, every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do the Sunday night live session. That is, except for like major holidays and if something comes up or if I'm traveling, and I'll let you guys know on the community page or on Facebook or on our social media that, hey, no, there won't be a live session. But when there isn't a live session, there'll be another video put up in its place. I don't leave you guys hanging. We always put up 6 videos a week regardless. All right. Speaking of Toyota, have any friends that can't shut up about the GR Corolla? No. I don't have any gay friends. Sorry. All right. Swish. Does the 310X with its smaller deck have any benefits over the LX and LXS with the larger decks? Yes. Like a lot. Yeah, what's funny is that Jet Drift is an interesting outlet because I don't know if they're a magazine. I don't know if they produce unique content. I don't know if they're a search engine. I'm kind of I'm trying to figure out their gig because I don't know any of the guys there. I know all the people at Pro Rider. But I don't know anyone at Jet Drift. I have no idea who they are. And that and a lot of their math is super sketch. It's super, yeah. Like they started calculating curb weights for Sea-Doos and Yamahas, and they left out the fact that Sea-Doo does not include the weight of the battery in all of their curb weights. So suddenly their curb weights are off by 13 pounds. So yeah, there's a few things that I'm like, oh nope, you're wrong on that one. Oh, you're wrong on that one. Just little stuff. So again, because I don't know who they are, I can't vet them. And I've been doing this for a long time. And so I'm just kind of on the fence. All right, yeah, you're asking for benefits. Okay. So 2 things. Weight. 20 pounds of weight, 20, 30 pounds of weight. Second of all, no one rides. I hate saying this because it makes me sound like I'm a braggart, and I'm not trying to come off like this. But I make certain observations that only the absolute psychopath, totally pinned wide open guy will find. Like, for example, when the whole argument over should I texture coat my Yamaha hull? Mathematically, logically, the answer is no. But in real life practice, 99.8% of people who do it will never feel the difference in surface tension changing. They'll never feel it. They do not have the skill set to know any different. There are tens of thousands of people who think the ST3 hull is the best thing since sliced bread. So, 80 million people voted for Joe Biden. Never underestimate the stupidity of the human being. So, when I say, hey, there's things that occur with the deck extension on the Kawasaki's, people go, I don't feel that. And I have to stop and go, yeah, you probably never will. Chances are you never will. Excuse me. But the 0.2% who will feel that, me, Greg Gaddis, racers, performance enthusiasts, guys who buy aftermarket sponsors, the whole dudes at K-Speed, blah, 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 blah. All right. We will all attest, hand to God, that the deck extension produces lift. And so when you go around a corner with the Ultra, that deck extension has extended the rail running surface, and because it creates negative space, it pulls up in the tail, and you start to unhook the tail. It'd be like a NASCAR car suddenly having lift in the back, and you start losing traction. Those back tires start losing grip, and you wash into the wall. And that's what killed Dale Earnhardt Jr. Okay, was lift. So again, when I talk about these sorts of things, most people will never feel it. Most people will never notice it. They'll have no idea that it's happening. They'll go, oh, the ski does funny things, but I don't know if it's funny or not because this is all I own. And I ride a dozen skis a year, and I have to be attuned enough to go, oh, that's weird. That's doing something different. What's going on here? So with that deck extension actually produces lift, and you will start to lose a little bit of that firm tracking. The 310X does not do that because it doesn't have that. Okay. So you can bite absolutely on the rail, hard knee in the tray, hard turn, totally on the bond rail, get that Cowie into a full pinned white knuckle turn and cut around. It'll do it. And it'll do it reliably. It will do it without any sort of walking, and it'll do it on stock sponsons. All right. That's the difference between the X and the LX and the LXS. The X and the LXS with the Ultra deck, which is this plastic deck extension, which ever since the advent of the Fish Pro, every guy's like, that's new. I need to have it because it's new. And new means better. And I need to have the better but new thing. Why? Is that your bug out vehicle? Are you going to flee into the wilderness with your deck extension on the back of your Sea-Doo? How much garbage how much stuff are you going to bring with you? How much stuff do you must have on your ski? I don't understand. I produce a 13-gallon tank fuel system that goes on the back of that Kawasaki, goes on the back of Yamahas. I'm not angry. I'm just baffled. I'm completely scratching my head. I'm like, I do not understand. I'm so beside myself. Because I don't understand. These people are like, I have to have all this extra room. I'm like, no, you don't. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. You really don't. And plus, now you have all that weight beyond the pump. All right. Well, what does that mean, Mr. Wizard? What that means is that now you're throwing off the pivot point of the ski. Now you're putting all the weight on the back. That ski does not know where to turn. It has no idea where to turn. All right. The Explorer Pro with 600 pounds of crap on the back of that thing, dude, that ski is lost. It has no idea where it's going because the pivot point is now a foot behind the pump instead of where it needs to be, which is a foot in front of the intake grate. All right. That's why the Sea-Doo sponsons, or that's why the Riva Pro Series sponsons are the only sponsons that work on the ST3 hull, because the deepest point of those sponsons is exactly at the intake grate. It's forced the pivot point a foot forward. And when people go, I don't know what Kevin's talking about, it's like, well, then take my word for it. But I really don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to do your own due diligence. I produce content that lays out, it's not Kevin's opinion, it's me talking to people who design hulls and design all this stuff, and they explain it. And they explain it in perfect clarity. And people are like, too many words, don't want to read it. Okay. Okay. So, there we are. But yeah, they need 2 of your long tanks. Yeah, that's funny. So again, I scratched my head on that whole one. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the kind words about the tank. It's true. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. No more super chats. Yeah. Waterworld. Favorite part of Waterworld is the fact that all those two strokes, they didn't want to use the sound of a two-stroke engine. So if you watch it again, or if you just go onto YouTube and put up clips, all the sounds of the jet skis are Harley-Davidsons. They're all motorcycles. They're all potato. They're all Harley-Davidsons. Anyway, it's pretty funny. That's the movie that got Larry Rippenkroger doing stunts for movies. Was that. So I watched Waterworld quite a bit growing up. That's pretty funny. All right, guys, I'm done. We're already now we're at $1:20. I was going to be done 15 minutes ago. All right, guys, you have a good night. We'll talk soon. Be safe.